I appreciate that.
Hi.
Hi. To
Right?
be fair, because Vicky said hanging here, I then was singing hanging tree, and then you posted hold music, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I apologize. I was running late and had to scarf food. Otherwise, I would probably not have made it through a live show. Whoops. I feel like this show is being cursed. Like,
Yeah.
all the way from September to now, and I was like, if we don't do this live show today, it's literally never going to happen. Like, there's just been so much shit between me having COVID and you being run down, and then me being run down, and then like
You have
family
31,000
funerals.
things to do in the month of September.
Yeah. And then just as we got back, it was just manic. It was just manic. And then last week I had a family bereavement and it was just like, let's push it a week. And yeah, my brain's still wonky. Is it ever not? But we're going to try. We're going to at least get through.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
We're talking about these. Probably not in any order because it's us.
My books are upstairs.
It's fine. They're my books anyway. But yeah, book 2 and book 3 of the Glass series before we move on to the third trilogy. I don't think these are going to sit like the pretty ones do, so they can just sit there. I don't even know whether to say we're going to try and do this chronologically because I always forget with one book, never mind with two.
I'll be honest, I can't even remember anything that happened in Sea Glass other than the actual Sea Glass.
Fair. Highly finding the sea glass. I mean, that is very fair.
Yeah.
I literally read them both this month, so I'm slightly closer.
Yeah, I read it. I read it last month.
Yeah. So Andy read this like 6 weeks before I did, but I then went straight to this one and finished it before Andy did. So Vicky read them both about the same time as I did. And I don't know if anyone else is here. As always, this is going to have spoilers. If you have not read these or the first Poison, Magic and Fire study trilogy, we love you, but please go so that we don't spoil anything for you. Because the two of us are not properly braiding. So this will just be as our brains think of shit to say.
Yeah. I mean,
so why don't we just start with what did you rate this? I know you can't remember much of it, but we'll do a brief overview of what we can remember.
Spoiler alert for this whole friggin' series, like series overview. This was gearing up to be my favorite series. Like, well, I know I've only read 2 series now.
Yeah,
but
out of the 4, yeah.
The last like 150 pages of
Spyglass,
Spyglass
any chance?
just absolutely just tanked it. Something happened and I just went, yep. So Sea Glass got 4.5.
Okay. And
I
Spyglass?
really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed. Sorry?
And Spyglass? Just while you were on Storygraph, I thought I would ask both ratings because you said you tanked it, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming like a 3.
Not added a rating to Storygraph just yet, but
Fair.
I was doing my spreadsheets today, and I ended up putting it on my spreadsheets as like a 3. Just because it was going so like I was. The worst thing is it
I
was
can
going so
almost
well.
guarantee I know the bit that you hated.
It was going so well, and then it just went so downhill for me so fast that the disappointment swing was like
Yeah.
unreal. It just absolutely like it was gearing up to be like a 5-star, and then all of a sudden something happened and I went, no, we're not going down this path. But of course we were going down this path, and the whole end of it just
That makes me sad. Tori, there's a cryptid moving behind you. Yeah, that's a rich. Gave Sea Glass a 4 and Spyglass a 4.5. I kept them both at the same ratings, like, because I'm rereading, I won't change my ratings. There's a bit at the end, which is why I'm thinking it might be the same bit, that I hate about Spyglass. But in general, I love Opal and Opal's journey enough that I wouldn't have changed the rating, I don't think. I
Yeah.
did 5 for both, but I mean,
I literally almost burst into tears just for being
oh,
so actually. I envisaged in my head just ripping out the end of the book and pretending that's where it ended and making it my own ending because I was like, no, no, we're not doing this. No, not again. It's not happening. I'm done. Like it's like, but let's go. Let's go over some of Sea Glass first, then we can go and get into Spyglass. I'm starting to remember more of it now. So obviously we have Helly finding the glass.
yeah.
We
So
have
I
the
think we start with her at the keep, and they're pissed at her for not knowing. Is
Helly
that where we start?
and powers.
Return to the Citadel immediately and report directly to the Council Hall. So basically, she's still in the ice glass. We're still up at the top of Ixia.
Ixia.
She gets told to report back, and when she does get back, all hell breaks loose. I remember you sending me a message. Actually, I hadn't even started it, obviously, because I think I was with Maria, and Maria was sitting on my sofa, and you'd sent a message about her being in the council hall and saying that Devlin was on their side. And I remembered
Oh yeah,
you
he
giving me
was
an exact
what
page.
thing happened to Devlin just
100
kind of disappeared.
115. You literally sent us a page, you sent us thoughts, and Maria was sitting on my sofa giggling at how much you were like in shock at the start of chapter 10. Which is fair. Um so basically, I don't like Tama Moon. I'm gonna put that out there first. Um
Tama the actual Tam or is that her sister?
this is her sister at this point. It's not actually Tama. It is her sister. But
Yeah.
her and
Okay.
Zatora, um so by this point, they didn't know that she could siphon magic, which she'd obviously figured out by this point. They'd, without us knowing, we didn't have Tamamoon as Tamamoon. We had her
hmm
sister,
hmm
and we had an Ulrich and a Devlin soul swap.
Yeah.
And they were
Ulrich and
saying that Ulrich was actually Ulrich and that she was trying to help the wrong person and he was actually helping the council and this, that, and the next thing.
and they made
Um,
her like I genuinely thought that like I was I remember feeling so disappointed in Yelena and Zatoria.
Zatora, yeah.
Just I remember being so disappointed in both of them for not believing Opal. Like
Yeah.
of the people standing in front of you right now, who are the ones who have actively like I was especially annoyed at Yelena. Like the fact that it was interesting though the fact that she couldn't see
Yeah.
the soul difference
And I'd
because obviously
forgotten
they
that.
just blood.
Yeah. I'd totally forgotten that when I was reading this because I was like, how? Why? Like, why can't she see? Surely she can see. Like, and I could
The
not for the
difference.
life of me remember how they'd done it. And it's just because if you, so with blood magic, you can inject blood, which is what happens later on in that one, which is what I hate personally. And you can tattoo blood. And if you tattoo blood, it like the tattoos don't go away, but it's more the injecting of the blood, I think, that has the more mental capacity to it. But either way,
Well,
you
the soul
become addicted.
swapping that they did, didn't they drain them and
They
give them like a
drain them,
full
yeah.
like nobody has
Drained it
blood
and then
types in
put it
this
back
world.
in.
It's fine.
Yeah, I know, right? Imagine. Um,
Do you know
but
what's funny
yeah,
about that? Sorry, random, totally off
no,
the cuff
go
fact.
for it.
Uh,
We know this is going to be random
Hominids
tonight.
are the only. Like, I think I don't know if it's just us, but like us, and I think maybe like chimps and stuff. And the great apes are the only ones that have blood types. Other animals don't have blood types; they just have blood. That's why dogs can give blood to any other dog. They just have
Huh.
dog blood.
I did not know that.
Mm.
Did not know that. Um, so obviously after the council meeting, she then ends up with a bodyguard who is a bit of a pompous prick.
And he still doesn't doesn't Valak get around him still.
Yep. I don't think Devlin ends up in her suite at one point, but like,
Yeah, like he's such a rubbish bodyguard. Do you know who
and
he
then
reminds me of actually? He reminds me of the bodyguard for Tama Moon in Spyglass when she first meets him.
yeah, I just love
But then
that
obviously he gets
Opal
better.
called him Skippy. I thought it was great. And then he obviously they don't like Skippy, but she ended up with like a night guard as well, and
Mhm.
they actually had conversations and they got on because he was like, "I'll just sit over here. I can watch your door, but I don't need to be pressed against it." Um, but yeah, I liked non-Skippy. I can't remember what his name is though, which is so not helpful. I don't know. Um, then while she's got her guard, she ends up finding out that there's black diamonds. Is that in this one? No,
No,
superpower diamonds. It's the power diamonds that Pazia's looking at. The
I
diamonds
really
in
like
glass.
Pazia after she gets herself knocked down a peg.
I love Pazia. Pazia is one of my favorite side characters. Like I
It
don't
just
feel
kind of
like
it's funny because she changes so fast. It's almost like her powers had something to do with her attitude.
yeah, I think her dad had something to do with her attitude as well, having
I
met
hope
him
he
in this
falls down one of his mines,
one. And gets stuck.
like straight down a shaft.
Yeah,
Honestly.
perfect. Love that. Um
Mhm. I'm pretty sure Cade gets past. Cade, I
yeah.
really like. And
Um
was it
I'll
this
keep
one where
Opal.
she and Pazia use Fisk to help them find the diamonds?
Yeah, yeah. I love Fisk. Um
I'm seeing Fisk growing up, honestly. Like
he's just a baby.
he's 16 in Spyglass.
I know. He gets even older in the next set.
Well, obviously, that's how time works.
I know, but he's just a baby.
But yeah, so
Um,
we have
but yeah, Cade gets past him because he says, "I just happened to open it to the right bit." Actually, I'll keep Opal safe tonight. Cade said, "I have my orders. Unless you're a counselor or a master magician, I'm in charge." Skippy's a powerful magician. Really? Can he block a gale force gale? A force 8 gale, sorry. I'm sure he can. Show him, Skippy. My name is Hale. Stop calling me Skippy or I'll have you arrested.
like no, and then he
Um,
follows him across the courtyard. You can watch from there.
honestly, it's just. I think
I feel like
Mara.
Cade is the thing I'm most mad at in this entire series. He is
So,
so underrated.
do you want to know a secret? So does Maria. Maria hates this book. Um, spoiler alert for the next book. Opal did not end up with the person that Maria wrote this book for, but Opal wouldn't let it happen. Literally wouldn't let her write it.
Opal's an idiot.
I liked Evelyn. I'm on Team Devlin, so I can't say anything. But
No, because it's like you know how I feel about Leaf. What Devlin did
yeah,
was
I know.
worse.
I know.
Also, Opal's got such a Opal's attitude really pisses me off. Like when she's sparring with the guy, the weapon or the one of the students, I think it is, or one of the weapons guys,
The big
and
guy.
he gets her in a headlock, and she accidentally presses one of the pressure points, and he
Yeah.
drops immediately, and she feels bad. I'm like, mate, I am a tiny woman. I'm using every single like. Don't you get me wrong. I'm fighting dirty if
Yeah.
this
I
happens.
feel
Like,
like there's one thing to be sparring against friends, but when you're sparring so that it becomes like instantaneous in a fight, you're using everything you can against like somebody you don't know. I feel like you
yeah,
can't feel like don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to like stab people that I like, but you'd want to
yeah,
train to know how to do it.
yeah.
Like I get
Exactly.
it.
Like use it against the enemies. Why not? I know she has this whole thing about like not being She basically doesn't want to turn into Devlin, and that like who Devlin was when he was sort of evil.
Addicted, yeah.
But like using it against someone who like I would be using that to get information out of people. Like I would go full like I should not be in charge of stuff like this. I would end up being called a dictator because it would not go down well. Tyrant.
I loved some of
The
your
word tyrant
comments.
would be used. But yeah, I've scrolled back to my first comment about this book that I messaged you was, oh yeah, Janko wants to try out a whip on Ari. Totally platonic, very straight coded.
Yep. I love them. And I love how much throughout the series they actually do turn up. Like, I know it's not technically Yelena, Valak, and Co's, like, series, but they're
Yeah.
there. Like, I know you were panicking when we moved away from Yelena's POV. And I know that this isn't your favorite character, and we all know that it's not Vicky's favorite character. Like, Vicky's very excited to get back to Yelena. But I think having that time jump and having somebody else's POV worked for the overall world building of Ixia.
Yeah, because the action wasn't happening to Yelena.
Yeah, it
Like
would have
I was
been
annoyed when
silly
people
to
are
be
like,
her
why is
POV.
the story always got to be about the chosen one? Because the story is happening to the chosen one. That's why.
Yeah, where this,
Like,
it was a side quest of doing, dealing with glass messengers and finding. I think a lot of this deals with her growing up and her realizing that she has the ability to say, I'm one of the only people that can give you the glass messengers. Like, I should have some say, but obviously that doesn't work because by the end her magic is fucked. But
certain. I
that
think this
ability
is
to start
also
standing up for herself to not be used, like, by the
yeah. I think
council and to be completely overtrodden, I
Opal
liked
has
it.
an issue with her self-worth. And not only just her
Yes.
self-worth, but how she believes other people see her. Because that's where I commented something as well about Mara, about loving Mara in this one. Because for so long, and you see it, I can't remember if it's in this book or in Spyglass, but there's a moment where Opal reflects on the fact that she's been so jealous of Mara for so long for something that Mara can't help, that she just
Yeah.
happens to be beautiful and that people fall all over her. Like, that's not, Mara doesn't invite that in. That just
Yeah.
happens to happen. And Opal has always felt some resentment towards Mara, and she's always felt second best to Mara, or even third best because of Tula.
Yep.
And she doesn't recognize her. I think that's where the little girl helps her in Spyglass. But like she doesn't recognize. It takes her through these books to recognize her worth. One is the like as a glass magician, as like somebody who has like that kind of worth, as a daughter and a sister and just a human and somebody who's worthy of love. Which I think makes sense when you think about the fact that she has like although she's obviously had other relationships before Ulrich and such came along, the relationship she has with Ulrich, with Devlin, with Cade
Yep.
through the books, even when Devlin was pretending to be Ulrich, it gives her a different sense of being wanted because these are people who want to be with her for more than a casual thing, but also people who want to be with her just for her rather than like any other reason. There are so many
Yeah.
people in this who should like she wants Bane and she wants Vittoria and she wants Elena and like she wants them to be the ones to tell her she has worth and they're the ones that that don't. They're the ones that actually treat her quite badly. If you think about the fact they're meant to be her friends and her teachers, she's treated poorly by the people she with or she
Should
thinks
look up to.
not including her family. Like her mum and her dad, well, not her dad, she loves her dad, but like she's got this whole conception of how her mum thinks of her as well. And again, how Mara thinks of her. But Mara is only like in the situation with the council and in the situation at the start of the book, Mara is the only one that steps up for her. Like she is literally like, I might not be a powerful magician, but if you want to get to my sister, you will go through me. And I will make you pay. And if I can't make you pay, my fiance will make you pay. And I
Mara
still don't
is
like him.
pretty
You will
much
never make me like him.
Mara's pretty much how I picture you would be in this book. Like, if me and the girls and you were actually siblings and somebody was trying to get to us. Like, you would
I'll never
throw
date you.
down at the door and be like, absolutely fucking not. You are not getting past me. I will use absolutely anything to stop you from getting behind me to this person. Even if I'm behind you and I'm bigger than you, you are still going to be throwing down in front of me. And then you'd be afterwards, if I kept something from you, you'd be like, bitch, I can't look after you if you don't give me all the fucking facts. Which is basically what Mara does at one point. Because she's like,
Yeah.
you kept more shit from me. Oh,
No, so
also,
far she
Leaf
has that
going on
resentment
at the
of Mara.
family dinner. I don't even know what book that's in. Leaf going on at the family dinner and being like, "Oh yeah, Opal did A, B, and C," and her mum just like staring at her, and she being like, "Leaf, would you fucking shut up now?" Like she's already in a bad mood. She's already being called a ghost. Like,
Yeah, remember when we almost died? And then you killed 2 people. Good times.
don't
I
know what
also
my
think
mother needs to know right now.
to be fair, I also think that maybe helped her mum realise that she can look after herself.
Yeah, I just
Like,
think her mum wants to like wrap her in like wool. She's already lost Tula, and like Mara's at the Citadel. Okay, Mara's not
mhm.
in as much pain, and like Mara's getting the wedding, which her mum loves. But like, oh, I love her mum and I hate her mum. Like, again, I've read these back to back, so I don't know what the fuck one is what. I think
At the
it's
same
actually in
time,
this one.
we're seeing her mum's we're seeing her mum's interactions with her from Opal's point of view.
Yeah,
So like I feel like if you were to see it from her mum's point of view, you would be more on her mum's side. Because that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like Opal has this sort of vision of how people think about her, how other people's opinions are of her, that she's then shocked and horrified to discover are not actually how they feel about her. Because, when she actually talks to them about it, well
Wow,
enough, you know.
crazy
And
that, isn't it?
like she allows herself to sort of be infantilized. Like whenever I read this book or the first couple of books, I always saw or in my head, like she always seemed no older than 16, 17. But she's in her 20s. But everybody's like
She's not 19.
baby and not she's 20 something,
No,
21, 22.
20, 21.
Yeah.
14 plus about 21, 22, somewhere about there.
So
I
like
think
she
if
is
I
an
remember
adult,
ages right.
but she has this, I don't know if it's the trauma of losing Tula that's like pulled her into
Yeah.
that bubble, but like, you know,
I don't know if
there's
also
so much.
after losing Tula, if her parents pulled her into that bubble to like
I
protect
don't
the
think her
daughter that
dad
they
did.
did have. No, I don't think her
I
dad
think
did.
her mum more than her dad did.
Bless him.
Like, because her brother never really treated her any different. Like, her brother was still a little shit. I like her brother. I really like her brother, which is funny because he's a little shit. But again, you'll never make me like Leaf.
I think
I'll
Leaf's
put up with him.
hilarious now. Um, on the way to the Storm Dance clan for this season, we went. No, that's not right. We've missed a bit.
Oh yeah,
So
let's
Pazia
trust some
and
randoms that we don't know again, because
uh,
that can't go wrong for a second time.
but did Pazia they tried to get the diamonds before that,
Yeah. No, there was fake
and or
diamonds
was
going
it
around,
after that?
and
Yes.
Opal and Pazia were going to look to see where the fake diamonds were coming from because Opal could tell the diamonds if they were fake or not because of her magic, and Pazia because she's a rich bitch whose
Rich
dad
bitch.
owns a
We
mine.
love rich bitch. We love rich bitch. Um, and then we ended up with a call that because of what happened to the three glassmakers from the Storm Dance clan in the first book, with them dying when Ulrich and co, Tricky and co, trying to think of the right name, killed
The
them.
Sir and
Sir
thingy, yeah.
Tricky, Crafty. I will remember the
Devlin.
names. Devlin. I said Ulrich. I meant Devlin. Um, obviously the glass storm dancers, that doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Because they died, she was the only one who knew the mixture, so she had to go and train the new guys, etc. So she ended up with Skippy, Cade, and Leaf on a nice little
Can I
jaunt.
just say, I will fuck someone up the next time they go, yeah, we'll be fine.
It's like saying in a
But
restaurant that you're
this is how she
quiet.
ended up killing someone.
Yeah, it's like
And
saying in a
also,
restaurant that it's quiet.
this is where I said to you, right? In the situation where they're in the is it the that's like barren land type things, like a shale.
It's like shaly. Yeah, it's like the rocks right at the
Yeah.
top of the
And like,
cliffs.
oh yeah, the horses will wake us up. Now, two things. One,
So we're
Leaf,
right
it
here.
wasn't Leaf with them.
Yeah.
Why did Leaf's horse not work better? Because Leaf's horse usually quite good.
Rizalka.
Shasta?
Rizalka.
Rusalka. And also, Kiki being there, that fight would have been over in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
They
Quartz,
put Kurare into the horses. So Quartz and um
you wouldn't have got your
Rizalka
ass near
couldn't tell
Kiki
them.
to do that.
No, you wouldn't have. Although did they not have a storm dancer with them so they managed to do win things? I can't remember.
But the
But
fact that
anyway,
they didn't post a
basically
watch,
they fucked up.
yeah,
Again.
yeah. Literally, in
Again,
a
again.
plane where you can see all around you, you didn't bother to post a watch.
I don't know why you would. Um
And then
Honestly, pisses me off. And then they ended up at the actual
coast
beach
for the
with the
storm dancers.
new storm dancers who we only recognize. I think it's Raiden, who's the camp manager, who we know because we've seen him last book. And
Yeah,
we know,
the brother and sister who've got the attitude problem.
yep,
The sister's got the attitude problem.
there's the same girl who found we mentioned her earlier.
Ellie.
She got Helly, thank you. I was going to say Fisk, but that's the wrong person completely. And then there's like a
Well, she
few
might as
other
well
people.
be because she does exactly what like. I actually kind of can see her ending up with Fisk.
I don't know. I don't know where it goes. As always, I have forgot everything.
Yeah. But like their personalities, like kind of work quite well together. I think, or would work well together.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then two random ass storm dancers that nobody actually knows who they are or why they were recommended or
and they've been recommended by a counsellor who has never seen the cliffs. Zivin and it was two Z's, wasn't it? Zivin and Zeta. Have you ever heard of two names that sound more ridiculously evil?
I know, like, well, I mean, Devlin. It literally sounds like devil. But yeah,
But
like
yeah,
that to me, I was like, oh great. So they're either gonna die because they're throwaway characters.
I thought they
Like
were going to
there's
die. To be
somebody
fair,
said somebody was saying it in a fantasy book where there's like you've got all these random ass names, and then you've got one guy called Steve, and you're like, all right, Steve's gonna die.
yeah. So
Everyone else is so
we
it's like either they're
knew
gonna die or they're gonna be evil.
Prin, Wick, Tebbs. We knew the three of them, along with Helly. And then um, they find out that Helly likes to collect treasure.
Oh my god. And they wind up Skippy going down the cliffs. That was
Yeah, is it not
great.
something like you're gonna fall if you don't get the right like angle, and then Leaf just casually saunters off? No, Cade saunters off on Moonlight, and it's just like la 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 la, and everyone else is like sheer cliffs like this. No thanks.
And
You couldn't get
they
me.
scare him with like the flooding and stuff like that.
And then Radiant's just like mean. This is where we stay. Like, but it's when they start talking about the mixtures, and they obviously get defensive about having Opal come in, not Yelena, wrong character, Tori. Um, and Kate's like, she's our expert. She's the only person who knows the mixture. And they're like, why wasn't us? Why is it this? And they're like, because we lost our like we lost our glass makers. She guessed it. Like we didn't tell her. She just guessed it.
Dad would be able to do it as well. This is what annoys
Yeah,
me about Stytia and their attitudes because they think they're so superior to like again we talked about this during the study trilogy. Stytia has this air of superiority because they are not a military rule like Ixia. And
yeah,
while Ixia is not perfect, obviously, it's that personally I think it's in a damn state better than Setia, and it's seen as like the worst option than Setia, where everybody's free. But then you've got this tribalism that works into, like, even with Cade's mum, or like
Yeah.
there's somebody else as well who's like all the glassmakers while they're at the cliffs. That woman, that girl I was talking about, she's got an issue with Opal because she's not a storm dancer.
Yeah, but then you've got
Like,
like Helen, who was at the when they go to test for the sand, and she's just the glassmaker who does the little figurines, and it's
yeah, like
like
I
she
liked
makes the
her.
most intricate artwork, but she's like, I can't sell it for much because of the people that come through, so it's like I put out a few, and if I sell them, then cool. But like she was fine because she literally was like, oh my god, you must be a worker to know this stuff about glass. Great, cool, hi. But yeah, and you've got like Skippy who's standing there and it's like, your work's amazing, but yet this apparent magician can make shit. And you're like, yeah, but you can't, like, the glow is there, like it's a different thing.
It's like it's not
I
about the
have
aesthetics.
I have issues with people saying that her magic is something different. Um, but yeah, back to the siblings, Zeta and Ziva. Yeah, Zivin and
Mm.
Zeta. Um, did you think that anything was up when like they were going the hard way around everything? So like she
Yeah,
was
they didn't
telling
know
them
their
to
arse from
like,
their elbow.
no, they knew enough to like how to draw a line from A to B, but they didn't know the quick way. Like they were like doing it the hard way like this, where she was like, no, you literally cart this up there, and then if you need more or you need less, like it's there. You don't mix it down here and then go. Like, and it was just like, again, one of those things I keep saying. I remembered that something was up, but I couldn't remember if they were going to die or if they were the bad guys. I had
When they
that thought
started,
so many times.
when they started being like when it started being noticeable that they didn't know what they were talking about, that's when I was like, all right, okay, you're not up, you're up to something.
Yeah, 100%.
I
Um,
also loved it when she picked up the orb and like smashed it against the ground, and they were like, Maiden! And she's like, see, perfectly fine.
you taking Storm Dancer's hands and lives into your own hands. Like, need to make sure they work. Um, what, if anything, did you think was going on when they started touching Helly's glass that she came back with, and they all started attacking each other?
I definitely thought it was an enchantment on the glass. Like I didn't realize it wasn't. Obviously, we find out it's not on purpose,
Yeah, it
but
takes a while for us to figure that out. To be fair.
yeah. Like at first, I was all like totally with them, thinking it was some sort of attack. Can you imagine if you destabilize the storm dancers like that? They all killed each other, and
Oh God.
then who's going to dance to conjure like to through the storms? Then that area gets totally wiped out by the storms. It's like a whole, you know.
Yep. And I do find it interesting in this trilogy, especially like Maria always puts some form of weather. There's always something to do with the weather in her books, and it's because that's where she started. Like she did meteorology, and she always says that she wasn't clever enough to go on and do anything with it, which is why she moved on to doing something different. But I think it's like everything, like like when she does talks about glass, she's literally gone into a workshop and worked with glass, so she knows the different things. Like she's done sword fighting and she can fight with size, and she's done like all this different shit so that when she writes about it, it makes sense. Like was telling me
Mhm.
when, actually I think it was when one of your comments came up on the screen, she was saying that she'd asked one of her friends who's like an equestrian how long horses could like ride for before they need breaks, and like how long would it take to do this to this distance, and like how do you come, and she like asked all these questions, and apparently she's now got a doctor friend that she can ask like what kind of injuries do and don't kill you, because she was like, feel a bit weird googling that. And I was like, it's so funny because generally speaking, like you don't think about all the background shit that goes on, but with the amount of readers that you've got, there's going to be one like you with the blood, for instance. Like I wouldn't have even thought about blood being compatible, but because of your background, you do. So like the fact that she takes the time to actually figure out shit to make sure it's right so that people don't get pulled out of the story.
Yeah, but you also have like some kind of artistic license when it comes to the fact that it's a fantasy
Yeah,
world.
you do. That's
Yeah,
why
that
she's
popped
got
up to
the
me. It's like the blood type, and I was like,
yeah. That's why she's got the storm dance. St- sand seeds. Wow, my brain really isn't working today. Like the horses, because she's like, I am aware that this is not a thing, but like you get certain breeds of horses, like Clydesdales, for instance, they were bred to be workhorses. So she was like, I'll just make one that's made for
see,
running really fast.
I've been kind of deep into horse talk at the moment, and I have a theory that, well, my theory was that the Sandseed horses were based off of like Arabians or something like that because they are very specialized to like live in the desert plains, and they at least they if you look at Arabian and then think about like Kiki and stuff like that, it's very like to me they just seem really similar.
I am Googling. 2 seconds.
Yeah,
In fact, I've literally just pulled
they
one up that
just
looks like it could be Kiki.
like they just in my head they were like, tell me that's not Moonlight.
Oh, wait. Yeah. And
Like
there's one here literally going up a cliff, like a mountain like this, with no issue.
yeah,
I
and
found
they've
one with
got like
a stripe down
attitude
its
as well.
face.
They just they just
They look so
I
cute.
don't know what the horses look like, but this is how I imagine quartz
I'm waiting. Pretty.
with like the speckly. But yeah, I think like that in my head, I was always seeing Arabians when I was thinking of sand seeds.
Yeah, this makes sense. I will need to ask her if she.
And I mean, look at that! Look at that beautiful horse.
So pretty.
He's gorgeous. I'm sorry if he is here.
She won't be. Or at least I highly doubt it.
Mm.
Um. So yeah, so we had the whole cavern in a fight. Opal, when she touched it, became unensconced, uncursed, no longer under the influence, however you want to say it.
Wasn't there something in a
And
bubble? She got into a null shield or something, didn't she? There's a
well,
null shield bubble. She managed
she,
to
yeah,
get
she managed to do it herself,
it.
but it hurt her hand. So she managed to get Leaf,
Oh yeah, she deactivated
and
it.
Leaf managed to put the null shield up, and then she took the whole thing of everybody's sea glass and then like deactivated them all individually, which hurt her.
Yeah,
But it was the only way that she thought would manage to not have them all crazy.
going crazy. Yeah, the
Um,
fact that she had to like tackle Leaf, I was like, eh.
I just love that she was like, if I don't do something, someone's gonna die. There's a lot of people
Mhm.
in this room that
Like,
have power to kill people.
who can make a null shield? You.
Pretty much. And then she got one of Leaf's awful smelling teas. Um, took it a few days
They
to be
really
able
should
to
just
move
like
again.
store them like cold for
Eh,
Opal, I swear.
eh. Then the next bit was her smashing their glass orb, which was funny. But I love that with glass, when you smash it, you literally just collect it, put it back in the sand, like back in the thing, and it remelts it, and then you can reuse it.
Cold basically, yeah.
Yeah, like that reusal,
But at the
that
same
doesn't
time, it
sound like a
also
word.
like it's not like she could then use it for making the orbs because the balance is off.
Not of the no, the glass orb that she broke out of Zeta and Ziva's, the one that worked, Sivin's, like the first one that she tested to make sure the consistency was right,
Right.
because it
Yeah, but
was
they
the
would just
right.
put everything in the cold basin.
I wouldn't think they would put anything that was. wrong back in, because they would then have to get rid of the whole mixture if it was wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Don't know, I never
That
know.
would
That
suck.
would just have to ask Maria. Do they have two call basins? But then how do they know? Like, see, I would be overly suspicious because what if it was like, what if somebody had accidentally put something in the wrong thing?
I hope not.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think at this point they then did they not find out that they had to um go find the magician that was making. No, we didn't know that the magician they had to go find was linked to the glass, but
Mhm.
Leaf and Opal were being sent to go find the magician that was close to flaming out.
Mhm.
So they then left the storm dancers doing their dances because the hot season had started and they needed to like tame the storms. It's the whole reason she was there. She can't get away from that. And they
And they
went
go find the creepy
down
cult.
the coast. And they find, well, they go through various different blood good clans, like up down the coast.
Bloodgood
Yeah,
and
so
Joe Rose.
they basically start here and they just go all the way down here, just down this bit. And then they find that there is a clan that live inside a compound that isn't at all suspicious called the Blood Roses,
Bloodgood. Yeah, Blood Rose.
because so many of them have married so many others that they've made their own clan. That made me feel icky from the start. And I couldn't remember why. And it wasn't until I got to the end of Spyglass that I remembered why. Um, but obviously, they try and get in, they get barred, they ask again, they get in to see the guy who's in charge, who was called Walsh. Yes, pardon me. And he basically is all, everything is good, everything is fine, we are not doing anything wrong, blah, 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 blah. And they get told, stay for the night and you will see. And then they find in their snooping that there is a teen who is working with the glass, if I remember all of that in the right order, who was called, I want to say Quinn. Is
Yeah,
that right?
I think so. I just find it really weird that there's only one or two magicians in that whole clan. It's just it's very
The whole clan just gives me the creeps.
yeah.
I mean, we know it's a cult. It's not a clan. um, but yeah, they were gonna try and take Quinn, but Walsh wouldn't let them. So Walsh told them to leave him and that he would see to his
Training.
magical training. And because he was under 18 and they wouldn't let him go, they literally had to leave him. Which, obviously, icky. And I really wish they could have done something else. But I don't know if they would have managed because he's under 18 and technically they don't have to go to the cult. Oh my god, the keep to
I
train.
keep. Yeah. I feel like see that again. It's one of those things where City is like, oh yeah, we'll let everybody have their freedoms, blah 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 blah, and then they miss shit like this.
Yep.
Like there's a middle ground somewhere between City and Ixia that would be like an actual utopia.
Yeah. Bleh. I just closed the book by mistake and lost where I was because I was using it to flip through pages so that I could remember and keep on track. Because I've lost so
So they go
much
back.
between. Mm?
Do they not go back to the keep then?
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. I'm literally just trying to use this so that we stay on
Oh,
track because
is it the first one or is it the other? No, she's already. Is this then where she's kidnapped and takes all of Tricky's magic?
that happened already.
Is
That
that
was
in the
the end
first
of
book?
the first. That was the end of the first one.
Mm.
That cult place was so creepy. I don't know why they didn't send someone else in to investigate. Yeah, I wish they had, but I guess if you've only got one magician that you can feel like being a nuisance and they've said no, just need
Also,
to
the fact
keep
that
an
Leaf
eye.
was with her and he didn't sense any of the deceit that was going on.
Yeah, I guess because they thought they were literally telling the truth, but that's just annoying.
I think it was because Walsh's magic was able to not control people's emotions, but like cover it in a way that masked it from Leaf.
Yeah,
That was my theory anyway. I don't think it was explicitly stated, but
I mean that makes sense considering how much of a hold he has on them all as well.
yeah, that it made me. I actually made me think of it. Um, made me think of it in the next book because of the interactions that we have with Walsh again.
Yeah,
I mean, Ixia, yeah, this is true, but this was also like
but they don't
children
look
who
out
were.
for magicians as such. Like if they're hidden,
You have
like
no
they
way
were
to
all in a
tell when
basement.
someone's a magician. Yeah.
Yeah, they were all
And
literally
he was
hidden in a basement
kidnapping them from Sitia.
going the other way. So we went from the Bloodrose family back up the coast because we had to go
He would have
get
loved blood magic.
who would have blood love who what?
Kangom.
Oh, yeah, asshole. I'm really glad he's not
He
there.
would be all tatted up.
Bleh. Um Sorry, I'm just thinking about how many tattoos we could have gone through. That would have been horrendous.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, so we went back because we had to go get Skippy. And apparently to try get Moonlight, but Moonlight had backed herself into the stables in such a way that they weren't getting her back. So the stable master wasn't happy.
She was like, I'm
um,
staying here. And they're like, you need to come with us. And she's like, sorry.
no, that's what you
Was
think.
that unclear? I'm staying here.
Um,
Fancy horses pick the riders. There's nothing you can do about it.
no. So when we go back, she manages to get one more night at the coast before they head back. And it's on that night that Ziva and Zetin's plan comes to light, and we find out the I don't know if we find out that they meant to kill her or if they trusted Cade to not kill her. Um, but they definitely tried to kill her and push her off the cliffs. And she was falling until she managed to get caught by Cade's wind and saved. Trying to
Kate is
see
so
what.
underrated.
Yeah, so
I hope
Zivin.
Kate ends up with someone like Helen. He deserves somebody who's good to him.
I can't remember, but I honestly do not think Opal and him would have lasted long term. Like, they're cute when they're together, but he's consistently saying that he wants someone with him and that's happy to like have a quiet life where
Yeah.
she doesn't seem that person. Like they
Yeah.
definitely are good when they're together and when they're not being
She
interrupted. But how many times have they been interrupted?
she did I mean she did want that life up until a certain point.
Yeah, yeah. I
And then
think
she
she would
realised
have
she'd never be
loved that.
satisfied.
I think she would have loved that had she not had the power that she like if she'd not gotten used to being able to talk to the master magicians and like be
I
included
think
in stuff
it's
like this.
I think it goes back to what I was saying about Opal's worth. Because Cade, while he while he liked Opal, it was similar in a way to Ulrich. He liked her as a specific version of herself.
Yeah.
But Kate, because she keeps secrets from everybody, Kate didn't realise how much she was smothering.
Yep.
And when he did realise, that's when they realised that they weren't compatible. That's why things didn't blow up, because Cade's a good guy.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
realised that,
100%.
you know,
I cannot for the life of me, and I'm not even lying, say that I can't remember if he's mentioned in the next 3 books. Like, I genuinely don't remember. I haven't read these books in over a decade. Um, but I agree. I think if they had settled, I would have been saying he deserves so much more than her because neither of them would have been happy with the other.
yeah. And
Um,
he would have run himself into the ground trying to make her happy.
and she would have tried to hold back, and she wouldn't have been happy, and he wouldn't have been happy, and they would have clashed,
Yeah.
which makes me
Still don't like
sad.
how it ended, though.
Um, we then go back to who is she talking to right now? Hold on. Oh, I met Pazia's father, Vasco. Right, okay. I was like, it just kept saying he did this, and I was like, who is he? And it was from him that she first got the idea of having some kind of say in the messengers. So we're quite far through book 2 when that thought even
Yeah.
surfaces.
Yeah.
And I guess at this point, she's been held aside and told that she's been lied to, that she's not known what's going on, even though she bloody well knows that Ulrich and Devlin swapped. She's been treated like a child while still being told to go do the important adult work of finding magicians and being helpful to the council. Um, so I guess by this point, her
No, it
wanting to
really
have some
pissed me
form of
off.
control.
It really pissed me off how much they were like they were relying on her for the messengers, and like, yet they treated her like a pariah. Like, no wonder she doesn't want to help you. Like, she
Yeah,
got treated, like, the council treated her absolutely disgustingly, and master magicians did not help at all.
no,
They're just like, well, it's the council, and I'm like, no,
absolutely
no,
not.
that's what
Um,
assholes.
and it was at the end of that where Yelena had said that they couldn't switch souls, but obviously we know from the next book that they did. I'm trying to figure out if there was
Then
anything
they
else
end
that
up in
happened
that
at the end.
place. She somehow ends up in that place where
Tama, Fulgor,
she found Tama's, yeah, and she meets Nick and Eve.
Nick and Eve. Yes, I love
Love
Nick
Nick
and
and
Eve.
Eve.
We seem to have things for having like a
I'm
duo
so
of
glad.
soldiers with like
Yeah, I'm so glad they came back in the third book.
I love them. Um, what did you think about finding Ulrich at Gressa's? He was there,
She
right?
should have
Yeah.
pushed him down a hole. He just disappeared after that. He just was like, did he just like? I forget what happened to him.
He died.
Oh, good.
Valak killed him.
Oh, no, 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 not in the third book.
Oh, and the second one, I don't know what he's doing. Um,
Because I remember her seeing him, and then she gets basically kicked out, chased out of the town, and rescued by Janko.
we love it.
Pretend, which is,
Yeah,
oh, by the way, I've just put the two and two together. Janko rescues her by using a similar technique that Valak used to save Yelena from Iris.
I do not know what he is doing. Um, and
I
then
love
right at
Janko.
the
He gets
end,
himself in so much trouble.
always. And then at the end of this one is when we find out that Tama and Akeko have also switched the same as Ulrich and Devlin have. So the person that's been in The council
So,
has not been Tama, has been Akako, and Faith, her assistant, and her have been in
I love Faith.
prison
Yeah.
for ages. And then obviously there's Yatmore, her being tied up and fucking not quite kidnapped because she got herself into the situation this time and they didn't take her
Still
anywhere
being
else,
held against her
but
will.
she's still being held. She's still. I need her to have like a car alarm, you know, like the ones where like if someone attacks you, it just starts blaring. Like we need to get some form of um anti stealing stealing protection on her. Honestly, nightmare.
If she had that, she'd leave it in a satchel in somebody's dressing room.
Very true.
And then she, at the end of this, and then she siphons all of our power because they've put it into their blood. It's
You
just
know
like,
how much I love Cade, but Opal changed too much and they were no longer right for each other. Sorry, I didn't. Oh no, it was only posted a few minutes ago. I was like, shit, did I miss that? But no, I did not.
yeah, definitely.
I'm trying
I
to
don't
think.
understand. Obviously, I don't understand really how her siphoning powers work, but I feel like there should have been a way. You know how Yelena can pull a soul into herself rather than just like releasing it. I feel like that's what Opal should have done with her magic. Like there should have been a way for her to pull it back into herself rather than just pulling it into the orb.
Yeah, I did think it was one of those things where, moving on to this one now, um, the whole her having lost her power and trying to get to grips with it to regain her power, but then to get addicted to it,
Do you think that's
only to
because her
lose it
power was out
again.
there? Because like Pazia didn't do that, and I think Pazia didn't do that because it wasn't there to get back. And like
Yeah,
whereas Opal's was there to get back, so then did it have some sort of magical pull to her to make
I
her go on this crazy mission?
I genuinely think it did because we all know that blood magic is addictive. I have a fun story about this part of this whole plot line. When Maria was in secondary, well, what we would call secondary school, um, I think she said she was about 14. These group of young adults came in, all smart looking and, you know, ready to like tell teenagers what they'd done with their life, you know, like you would in any career fair. But it turned out they were all ex addicts and they'd all been like made homeless and lived on the streets and like had been the worst of the worst case of like addicts, like
Don't make me feel
stealing and
bad for
everything.
Devlin.
No, but that's genuinely where this story came from, and she's
I
admitted
know
it many a
it's
time. That's
when
why
you said that, I was like, oh damn it.
I think that's one of the reasons I have such a pull to Devlin though, because I know what that does to people.
I
Um
don't think Devlin doesn't deserve a redemption arc. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm
no, I
saying
don't think
is
that is
if
what you're
I was
saying.
Opal, I wouldn't be able to be with somebody or even be attracted to like this full on Stockholm syndrome. The man
Yeah.
literally tortured you until torture became so normal to you that it doesn't work anymore.
It still does work. She just doesn't break easy. That's what you said
She
in the
didn't
book.
break at all. She lied about the glass mix when she was tortured.
Yeah, that's true. She still knows it hurts though. But yeah, I'm not saying that that's where that specifically came from, but she said she never forgot like their turnaround and it was why she included someone that had an addiction in it, but obviously didn't do alcohol because that isn't something that would have worked for this. Um, but yeah, it was one of the first conversations we had when I first started talking to her back in the pandemic. About how addiction can like affect everyone else. And I think it's one of those things where it is weird. Like if you haven't been around somebody that's got an addiction of some kind, it's it's weird once it's been there. So even her having been around Devlin, knowing that he's had an addiction, like their interactions before she's had the same addiction as him, okay, it's not to the same level. But she's still after having blood reinserted, that sounds wrong. Reinjected. We'll go with that word instead. um like after she started to crave blood and she couldn't go without it, I think they managed to understand each other a bit better. I'm not saying either one of them's perfect for each other, but considering Opal wouldn't let Maria write it any other way, I don't think Maria had a choice. It's one of my favorite facts about this book. I couldn't tell you before. um, but yeah, I never expect people to properly love Devlin. Although I always think people are going to hate Devlin more than they hate Leaf. I'm really like shocked that Leaf is like your least favorite character.
He's a hateful, hateful little man. And he's
My
never made it
camera
up
just
to Elena, in my opinion.
my camera just froze on you blowing at hair like this, just like blowing, and then you were talking about how he was hateful and you weren't moving. It was great. Um, yeah, I can't even
See,
remember
Leaf
what
has no
happens in the
excuse
next three.
though. Leaf, like, at least Devlin, when he was doing the horrible stuff he was doing, on one level, his conscience was telling him it was, but like, he knew it was wrong, and he was haunted by it in the end, and
Yeah,
he had, like, he worked to his redemption. Like, Devlin
yeah.
definitely deserves the redemption he got. Like, he redeemed himself
I
for his
also
actions, and he
love,
proved himself to be like a good person.
yeah,
Whereas Leaf was just like, well, you're gonna have
a
to
whiny
forgive
git.
me because Moonman says so, and because I'm your brother.
I agree with that statement. Um, I also love that Ari and Janko are in Fulgur through half of this book without us realizing that they are there. And I will be honest, it took me a long time to realize that they were in there. It was when um they'd kissed outside like where they were working and he just kind of looked at her and winked and I was like, "Wait, I remember." But it took me so fucking long to realize the two guards were Ari and Janko and I am
See,
so sad
see when
about it.
Opal realized, I almost saw like a flashback, like snapshot of her being like, "Wait a minute," like
Do you not just
putting
see
all the
this like
pieces together.
different, yeah, all the different pictures like as a snapshot in your mind being like, "Oh my god, I'm an idiot." But I do appreciate, like, I know that Devlin, well, you guys don't know, but Devlin's one of my favorite characters. And I haven't been able to say that. And I didn't want to say anything in the first one because in the first book, he's horrendous. Like, we all know he's addicted to blood magic. He's just an asshole in the first book. But by
Mhm.
this one, by the time he's working in the prison and he's, stopping fights and he's working hard to help build shit, and you can tell that
I
he's
still, part of
genuinely,
me didn't trust him.
oh god, no. I don't think you're supposed to trust him to start with, to be fair.
The point at which I trusted him is when I realized that Ari and Django trusted him.
That's fair. That's fair. Pardon me. And when Nick and we really
Eve.
are going all over the place in this book, but um, Nick and Eve being the minister and the minister's wife, and she noticed because of a scar on her finger. Perfection.
It's like I genuinely thought it was when until she said it was Eve and Nick though, I thought it was Yelena and Valak.
Fair. To be fair, the first time I read it, I thought it was Ari and Janko, and then I was like, maybe not. And then I was like, I can't
Janko would
remember who this
absolutely
is.
be the minister's wife.
I was like, I think I remember, and then I remembered it wrong, and I was like, okay, it's fine. Um,
I liked that she went back. I know she was drawn back there and she didn't know why. But like the fact that she bought the glass factory and really started to because obviously she lost her love of glass when she lost her abilities and it kind of gave her that like because there was no longer a purpose for her making the glass and she kind of learned to love it and they sneakily made her like I think Valak knew she needed it and he made her like do it. I loved her training with Valak.
I loved it. Um, I'd forgotten how much Valak was in this book, and it just made me so happy. Like seeing him pass it on is, I just loved
Yeah.
it.
And like when she
And
comes into the house and the lights off and she's like hmm. I was like, oh
don't
god,
trust
what's going
this.
on? Yeah.
What?
Oh, so Valak is actually breaking in. He wouldn't have done that. Do you know what though? Sorry. Jumping back to like when Valak first turns up, when he turns up in Boo Ruby and she's like, "Oh my god, he's here to kill me." I'm like, babe, if he was
You
here to
wouldn't know
kill
he
you,
was there.
he would he would knock on the front door.
Agreed.
You would already be dead.
I think I'm now jumping all over the place. I can't remember, and I can't be bothered to flip through this one as at least the same. I was just trying to keep spoilers for this one out of this one. But now we're at the end, so it's fine. In this one, we saw her speaking to Vista, obviously find somewhere to stay in the city centre because she decided that she was going to move out and try not to be as so much under the magician's thumb. We then saw her getting the glass factory and starting to work with glass again, which
Mhm.
I love. I love her working with glass. We saw her going back to Mara's shop that she put all the effort into making, and Mara's now got extra kilns and she's got more team and she's got more of the city kids. And her like she sat down and then helped this new kid make a paperweight. And I was literally on my way to yours. It was on that literally the back windy road from the main road to your house as she was describing making the paperweight. And then like a few days later she'd gone back, or like a week later or whatever, and she'd made another one that wasn't as bad. And I was like, oh, see, Opal, you're okay, you know glass. It's like, like one of those little wiggle in your seat moments where you're happy with what you're reading and you're like, oh.
I think as well, like having Valak there, I think he very sneakily raised her confidence because it's just kind of the way he is. Like he trained her, and then he would test her constantly, and like
I think it was also good for her to see someone who doesn't have magic. Like in City, there's so many people that are magicians of some form or another. And because she
and
had
has a
it,
similar kind of magic to her. Even though I know
yeah,
you said they don't have magic, but like the way
anti-magic.
he's impervious to magic, yeah. And
I really, really like Valak and Yelena together.
mhm.
Oh my god. Yes, I like Valak and Yelena, but that's not what I meant.
Valak and Opal.
Valak and Opal. That's what I meant.
Like Valak has no. I think that what helps is Valak has absolutely no um investment. Not investment. Like he's not her friend. He's not a family member. He's not somebody that's connected to her in some way that's trying to like. He just was
Yeah.
like you know I got told I needed to come down here and do this, so I'm doing it.
I love that Yelena didn't even tell him why. She was just like, you need to go see Opal. And Opal was like,
And he's like, okay.
did she tell you? No. She figured you would tell me when you were ready to. Let's go. Just love it so much.
He's just down there for a holiday.
Yeah,
But then he's not, because we figure out that he's actually got something else going on in the background that she had no clue about, that he actually needed her for.
always. I love it. I'm
Oh
so
my god,
excited to get
how
to the
much?
next storybooks.
How much do you love Ian though? I love Ian. I'm sure his name's
Ian.
Ian. Nick's brother.
Yes, Ian, the guy who has the bar that always seems to move up a seat when you need a seat.
He just
I was
feeds
like,
them because he's just that kind of person. I love that like she like judges, is it Devlin, on like whether or not he can, she's proud of him for being able to tell that they're twins.
I love that. I love that whole scene, especially when he's like, food. You need food. Here you go. Um, we
Even Valak loves his
also,
food.
yeah, which is saying a lot. Um, I am so not going in the right order, but we have in this one we find, oh my god, what's his name? Rima
Finn?
and Tegan?
Oh,
Tegan.
Tegan.
So Rima is named after the Rima that Maria went to stay with like 3 stops after me on her tour. Um, she's one of her beta readers, I want to say. I'm sure she gets the books, one of the first ones. And they've been speaking for years. And again, Rima has corkscrew curls that's blonde, which is what the characters looks like. But
After she has
we
that.
meet. Mm,
After she has that.
oh, I wish I want a bat. But we obviously find out that there's a second magician flaring out, that he's had a bad experience with men, and they're struggling to get somebody to go and talk him down. And Yelena no, not Yelena, Jesus, Tori.
Awful.
Opal manages to get into the building, safely get him to let go of the power source, and then get him to safety into the healers. And then he finds she gets cut off, I think, by his sister in an alleyway or something, saying, "What have you done with my brother?" And we find out that there's a whole undercurrent for the Helpers Guild, that they're spreading rumors that they are literally stealing and putting their kids into slavery, which obviously from Fisk we know isn't true. But Opal is
And
very
frankly, I'm
sneaky.
insulted.
Me too, on behalf of Fisk.
Yes.
But obviously we find out that every time they go to the marketplace, pardon me, Opal gets different kids to come and help her so that Tegan
Rima
and
can see.
Rima can see. Um, and it's just so cute. It's so stinking cute. I was also listening to this bit on my way to you.
She's so,
Um,
like, I feel so bad for her because obviously she's so young and she's so suspicious of everybody because she's seen so much and she's had to grow up fat. Like, Opal's talking to her like a child and she's like,
bitch, please.
and
I think
Opal's
they
like, right,
grew up.
okay, that's not good.
Yeah, I feel like the two of them are Sandseed horses as people because they also chose who was going to look after them.
And they gave her the same nickname as the horses.
Yep.
So I wonder what that's about.
I don't know. The pair of them are both powerful, so I don't know if it's something to do. Maybe one of them can speak to horses. I cannot remember. Um, that would be really handy if I could remember, but I
Yeah,
cannot.
I didn't get her nickname because Yelena was like, oh, I don't want to tell you what the horses call you because, like, you're not her just now. And I'm like, but it didn't seem that significant once she told her. I was like, uh, that's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think it's just because she'd lost a bit of her fire with losing her magic. She just had to
Yeah.
find herself again.
When they said Fire Lady, like, I immediately thought of the guy that they put into the one that was trying to escape the fire realm,
Oh, the Warper.
the fire worker, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, but yeah, I can't even remember how
It's
they
also
get
just
from
occurred to
there.
me that Opal and Quartz both have stone names.
Yeah,
And Quartz is Opal's horse. Quartz also goes through a growth journey throughout these books, I think,
Quartz
because
is
Quartz in book
amazing.
one, it was so useless. Quartz in book three was more like Kiki. Kiki
I
really
think they
needs to, I
just
said this
needed
to
to
you as
get
well.
there.
Yeah, their connection. Kiki really needs to run like some kind of training school for the horses.
For the sand seeds, yeah. Your people will get into trouble. Here's what we need to know.
Like, you smell something bad, you kick. Ask questions later.
Kiki kick. Um, I love that I just opened up to a random page and it's Janko basically talking to Opal. And Opal says that it's someone who hates you very much, and Janko's like, that narrows it down to half a city, yeah. I love that that's where I opened that up on. Um,
Jacko's so
right.
sassy. It
I'm trying to
feels a lot
figure
less
out
suspicious in this book as well.
who.
Janko. Like, he's a lot like he spends a lot more time in Sitya, and he seems a lot less like tense around magic.
Yeah, he still hates magic, but I think he's getting a bit better with it. But I think he still hates it if it's being used against him.
Yeah. I felt so bad for Tamamoon. She was a wreck.
She
No
was, and
wonder.
then her magician not working properly or like helping her didn't help matters.
Yeah.
Like,
But I like that he respected that she didn't want him near. Like he could have just forced his way.
yeah,
I think those two
100%.
will end up together.
I
I'm
honestly
seeing a
don't
whole
know.
I'm seeing a whole like bodyguard trope going on. Because he
And if it
genuinely
isn't
cared about her.
mentioned, then you and me will figure that out. You and me will
Guys
figure it.
But he
But I think,
genuinely cared about her, like in a way that the other bodyguards didn't care about their counselors. Like he was genuinely there to make sure that she was safe, and not in a like I need to do my civic duty sort of way. Like he actually seemed to really care about her.
agreed. Um, but with her being back in Fulgor, working with the moons, she had her house. She was working. There was something about the fake black diamonds and the super messenger and the Vascos. We got to the Vasco mine at some point, and
Yeah.
we realized that the guy who was the
So we need
shit.
to rewind back.
At,
She meets one of the guards. She
I was
tries to
like,
sort of
what if I
talk with the
skip?
guards. Yeah. So
I
we
knew I'd
meet
skip
Finn.
something.
Finn,
Finn.
who's one of the guards at
Yeah.
the high security prison,
Yes.
because she's trying to get in to speak to Ulrich to get him to tell her
Where
where
her
her
blood
blood is.
is. I was like, I've skipped something. What have I skipped? Yes.
And so that's why she's training with Valak to try and get the skills necessary to break into the prison.
Most people try and
And
break
I
out.
love the fact that like they hide the lockpicks on her by putting it under what looks like normal skin. And I'm just like, these prison guards are idiots.
Yep. And I also love that before she went in, she got the guard to bet her that nothing was wrong, so she had a fallback to get out again. It was so satisfying. At the end, she was like, "You told me to find you a reason. I found you a lot. Here's my list." Because and then obviously Finn got away because he
That's when
had
she gets down there and like something happens and she's like, Janko? And he's like, shh, pretend to be unconscious. He doesn't even pretend to be unconscious. He sticks his head into the smoke and goes, boom. You gotta commit to the bit. The
I
fact
mean, you
she's
can
so
never.
mad when she finds out that they've been in there that entire time.
Honestly,
Isn't one of them? Isn't Valak even in? No, Valak sneaks in behind her and assassinates them.
yeah. Everybody. That's when I was like, Valak kills Ulrich and all of the rest of them. They're all dead. They're all dead.
Yeah,
Um.
like they're in a maximum security prison. Valak's like,
Eh,
yeah, but they can't do anything if they're dead. I see. This is why I like Valak because this is the kind of thing that, like, in real life, it's different. In real life, like, I don't condone stuff like this. But see, when it's just a book and these people aren't real, like, if a character's annoying me, I'm just like, just kill them. Just kill them off. It can be reading like a contemporary romance, and I'm like, just kill them off. It's fine. Just kill them off. I hate Finn is the thing that absolutely derailed this thing. Finn
yeah.
Finn was fine, but then yeah, she's sent from the keep to Vasco's mines, or she goes from the keep to Vasco's mines to find out about these black diamonds. After
Yep.
Finn has stolen her blood and run off, and Valak and Janko and Ari are all trying to track Finn down because he's a two-faced, backstabbing son of
Yep.
a bitch.
And then
Again,
she
like,
goes to the mines and meets Pazia, which I love Pazia. I love their friendship. We find out that
I feel like
there's another
Hazia just
brother.
does not enough. Yeah. Oh
Mm.
yeah, her little brother is like, you will get your ass handed to you by Opal. Do not try and. He's like, I'm going to challenge you, and she's like, you'll end up on your ass in 30 seconds. So,
Yeah.
care to try again?
And then we find out that Finn is actually Vasco's son.
Yep.
Vasco's son or
Finnegan.
Vasco's
Son, yeah, Finnegan.
Finnegan. Who is literally my least favorite part of this whole ending of this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the black
Um,
diamonds. We do figure out what they are, don't we? Yeah, they come from. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
yeah,
so she goes to Vasco's mines and she's given a tour. I feel like we're missing a chunk, but I feel like we're not. She
we're
spends a
not.
lot
I've
of the time
literally
dotting
just
about.
flipped. Yeah,
Yeah, she
she
spends a
kind
lot
of
of
just
time
goes
dotting around Falgar. I liked that portion. She was so happy, even though she was like training in espionage. But that's when, oh no, we are missing a chunk. So that's when her and Cade sort of start. You start to see the kind of crack,
cracks.
and she starts to see the crack. Like she feels bad about telling him not to come. On Maren Leaf's wedding, we missed Maren Leaf's wedding as well. So she goes. She
Gallon.
ends up going to. Huh?
Sorry, Finn is Gallon. Finn is the actual son that he's setting up for the murders. Gallon
I
is
don't
the
know this
guy
one.
that's in charge. Sorry.
But
Yes.
yeah,
Fi-
we'll get to that.
I just found it. Sorry.
Yeah, we had to go back.
So Leaf and
Um,
Mara's wedding.
yeah, so she goes to meet Cade because he gives her an ultimatum. Basically, if you don't show up, then that's it, we're over. And you know what? Fair enough. Like he set his boundaries. It wasn't like a not an ultimatum really, but like he did be like, look, this is how I feel. I think if if you can't find time to actually see me, then I think what's the point? Because we never see each other, which is fair. And so, but it was also really important, and it was important what she was doing, but it was all to try and find her blood, not so that she could stop other people from using it, but so she could get it back. Does she even ever get it back?
Yes. It's in her possession at the end.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Anyway, so she hauls ass to wherever it is that Cade lives, and meets his mum, who's a
His
total
mum.
bitch.
Yes. We did miss a whole section.
Hmm.
Because they go, once she finally stands up to her mum, and her mum's like, thank fuck, right, you've got a backbone, come on, let's go. They go dress shopping for Mara's wedding.
How did Valak know she would wear the green dress? That's what I want to know. Because at the start, Valak said she's like, I need to ask you something, and he's like, pick the green dress, and I'm like, okay,
I
so
think
Valak
it's
is absolutely
because
bisexual.
I think it's because Valak's been in so many costumes, he just knows what looks good.
Yeah.
But when the dress that Tori, who Vicky pointed out is called Tori, and I had not remembered there was a character called Tori in this. Um, she had a green dress that was made for someone else who then didn't want the dress.
Yeah.
So they just needed to do minor alterations, and make like shoes and stuff. And then she wore that to the
Died is
wedding.
pleased. Yeah. I I quite liked the wedding. It was nice. Like I still don't like Leaf, but
I love that Valak was his best man, and I'm like, well, duh, he's his brother-in-law.
eh,
Like,
I
he's an
thought Valak
only
was
male
like
child. Who else would he have used?
uh not his brother.
It's his cousin, though. It's not his brother.
They grew up together. Like he knows him better than he knows Valak. Jesus, this
But
makes me
does
so
he
sad that
really?
Moonman's not there.
I know. I know. Oh,
Moonman would
look.
have loved that.
Vicky got there. Whoops. Thanks, Vicky. Um,
See,
and then
I
they went
thought
straight
Flynn.
from the wedding to the flame out in the citadel with Tegan. And
Yeah,
then from Tegan, she got sent to the mines to see Pazia, which is why she had to leave the kids
with
with
Mara.
Mara. Yes.
No,
No, not Mara. Who did she leave the kids with?
She wants to leave him with Mara, but
Yeah.
she can't. Yelena?
Why can I not remember?
There's also a bit of a like
Is
full
it not
circle
the
moment.
moon? Councillor
Yeah,
Moon.
Tamamin. There's also like a full circle moment with Rima and Opal because the way she gets through to Rima is by kind of not explaining what happened with her and Tula when she helped bring Tula back, like bring her soul back, but she kind of like she explains it in a way that was appropriate for the situation, appropriate for Rima's age, which is that full circle moment because that's how Yelena helped Opal to get to Tula,
Yeah,
like explaining what she'd gone through, like
I love them all.
you know. Yeah,
Um,
so then she goes off to the mines.
where she meets Galen.
See, I said Galen in my head.
Galen? Yeah. Um, so yeah, so the oldest son that we haven't seen so far is called Finnegan, which in the book I've just realised is spelt with a PH, which looks really weird.
Mm. See,
Um,
I thought Finn was Finnegan pretending to be Galen, like convinced everybody that he was Galen, disguised himself as Galen, and then putting the blame on Finn, like himself. I don't. So like he could
no,
run
I
away and
I
be
think it
Galen.
was Galen was just putting the blame on Finnegan.
Mm.
But he
That bit wasn't
obviously
particularly
we went down into
the
um
mines.
the mines of Moria.
Doesn't she? She also tries to sneak about her. Oh, she goes into Vasco's office, and then Jan goes like, "You find anything?" And she's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Yeah, I've already searched. Like, how you getting on? I've already searched like 9 rooms." And she's like,
And then they find the safe hidden.
he's like, "Have you found the safe
Um
yet?" And she's like, "There's no safe." And he's like, "This man is rich and a little bit of a klepto. Of course, there's going to be a safe."
and
Honestly,
then she ends
Alec
up
may have taught her everything she knows, but he never taught her everything he knows.
yeah, 100%. Um then we end up down the mines obviously. He suspiciously takes her directly to where the black diamonds are, then disappears after a sound of a cave in, which is very, very suspiciously good timed. Doesn't come back for ages. And then when he does come back,
She
Opal's
clouds
in
this
trouble
bin.
again.
Yeah. See the minute, the second he injected his blood into her, that was it. That's where it just spiraled downhill for me. I was like, no, we are not doing this again. Opal is not losing every ounce of control she had. I'm so like I was just so fucking sick of it by that point. I was like, I'm so sick of these characters having all of their will and control taken away from them. Like it's something that, and again, it was published in 2010, so like it was very a 2010 thing, but like it's so um like it's such a thing. Like women constantly have their will and their power and their choices taken away from them. And I think I was just oversaturated because of all the stuff that's going on with the American election, stuff like that, and like the issues with women's bodily autonomy being absolutely friggin' turned inside out in America. I like constantly seeing all this. I think like when she just lost all control, and it wasn't even just like oh she was unconscious. Like she literally was put in a position where she had to do everything he said. Like magically, she had to do everything he said. And every time he gave her a command after that that she had to follow, I got more and more angry. I was like, somebody please just slit this guy's throat. Like I'm so done. That was it. That was me. I was like, I'm done. I hate this. It's like no. It's like I cannot deal. Like, I was like, she needs to do something to stop him from doing this. Like the fact that later on when she gets injected with the curare and he tells her to like get it out of her body means that she had the magic to do that with the blood. Like
I
the
don't
way
think she
Yelena,
managed to get the karate out though.
she did. It was similar to the way Yelena does it
Oh, I missed
because
that
he
bit.
commands her to do it.
But yeah, the instant he used his blood wasn't the be all and end all. It was at the end when she'd lost all of her ability to side act, like to step around his commands.
Mhm.
Like to start
But
with, I
that's
was
the
like,
minute he injected his blood and explained to her what it was, I knew what trajectory it was going on,
yeah, the
and that
very
because I was like,
ending
no,
of where it ends up, I hate. But I also appreciate that there isn't very many books that make me as angry as this one, which is
yeah,
why I haven't changed my rating. Like, I love the characters so much, the end of this book makes me furious, especially because nobody could try and, like, as they said, one person to Walsh wouldn't do anything. They needed to all act. And, like, I got it. As soon as I saw the mist coming in and it was really foggy, I was like, thank fuck, this is going to be over soon. Like, something's happening. And it was the fact that she kept being like, it's really cloud, it's really stormy. And I'm like, bitch, how do you not know that this is the Storm Dancers? Like, get your act together. Um, but yeah,
I love when Nick and Ari and Jacko were all fighting together.
when it was the 3 against 1, isn't it amazing?
They're just like switching out.
And then Devlin went last.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
almost died.
and almost died.
She's like, with a leaf. She was like, get a leaf.
But I did love that they managed to find ways around it even at the end. Like she got, was it Helly to get Eve because they knew that Eve would manage to like put the null shield around him. Like there was something like a teamwork without her
She
saying
had to
anything.
throw something like they were like, how like can you throw this at this distance? And all the guys were like, no.
Nah,
And she was like, Eve.
Eve. But I did love that because Eve and Nick were the priest in that, it wasn't binding. Thank fuck.
And well, I mean,
Um,
once he died, it wasn't binding either.
no, I know, but
I
even
mean, it
even
could have been, and she got
regardless,
all of his money and stuff if that's how it works. And
yeah. I did
they
appreciate that
also
she
didn't
managed
sign
to.
it.
Sorry.
They didn't complete the ritual either, so they didn't
Yeah.
do like the
No.
thing. Yeah, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, see with that the threat of I think the threat of the rape in this book was the worst for me.
Yeah.
It was the most distressing
That
because
was
it wasn't even
100%.
like with Yelena and um
Riyadh.
Riyadh, what he did to her was absolutely horrific. But she fought back. She had the chance to fight back. She managed to like, although not
Kill
save
him.
herself, she managed to kill him. Like she managed to fight back in some way. And in every
Yeah.
situation, and every single time there's been some sort of sexual violence in these books, they've had the possibility to fight back. And she was
And this didn't.
completely unable to do anything about it. She literally had to command, like, I was like, if somebody
Yeah.
does not stab that boy through the neck, I will jump into the book and do it myself.
Yep. 100%.
Like, I was
Um,
so angry.
I agree with all of that, to be fair. I can't say any better when my brain's not working. Um, I really disliked the fact that Walsh had married so many people, and what he was
Oh,
doing
he
was
deserved,
disgusting.
yeah. He should
I'm
have
very
lightning
glad.
bolted his ass.
I'm very glad that he is dead. Um, I'm trying to think. So then we get everybody. Everybody's there in the melee. Everyone. Um, we've got Quinn and
Except
everybody.
Iris and Zatoria and,
Yeah,
the master magicians that would have done
who
a hell of a
would
lot
have
of
been.
good.
Honestly, I was so pissed off with the three of them by the end of this, and I can't
What
remember
do
where it
they?
goes next.
Like
Hmm?
what good are they? Iris was doing great up until the end of the study series, and then she just became complacent, frankly.
Yeah,
Zatoria
I don't know.
retired. What's that got like? So you messed up. Learn from it. Although I'm interested to see if we get to follow her some point, try and find out what happened to her sister, because I do want to know what happened to her sister.
Yeah, I keep saying it. I honestly don't remember, but I genuinely don't. I do, however, remember being like, it's a long time for your sister to not have said anything. Hopefully, we will find out. But we
I mean,
ended up
well, it
with,
isn't. It isn't because like it's that kind of scenario. Like the messenger have made the difference because messages would have to be carried over distances on horseback rather than you wouldn't worry if you didn't get a letter from somebody for over a week because probably just, you know the courier's taking ages.
yeah. Um,
And I think Zatoria is a little bit naive and selfish, frankly.
oh God, yeah, 100%. What did you think when Galen, whatever, said to kill Devlin and she turned the knife on herself instead? That was right, like, right?
Yeah, that was smart. Like that was a
Yeah,
really smart way of like getting round the
I
command.
loved it. Yeah. And the fact that Devlin tried to take it back, I was like,
Work
no.
with me here.
Um, and then we got all the way to the end.
And they go and see
Throw.
her parents again.
And then, yeah, I was trying to see if there was anything else. So Quinn, Yanko got into the safe cracking skills. Lead on, puppy dog. um,
Yeah.
Devlin almost fucking died.
Mm-hmm. Would not have been mad, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I would have.
That would have been a good redemption arc for him.
No.
Sort of like putting his life on the line for everybody and dying a martyr.
I do like that
I
his
can't
name with
remember
the
how he
horse is
died.
changed, man. Mm?
Yeah. See, that is the point at which I trusted Devlin. It wasn't until the horses, like that is when I trusted him because I trust the horses,
Yeah.
but I don't trust the humans.
I love that their herd is Opal Devlin, Cade Valak, Yelena Iris, Ari Janko, Nick Leaf, Nick Eve, Leaf Mara, Parents, Brother, Helly, Ulrich, Fisk, Pazia, Quinn, Rima, Tegan, and all the Sandseed horses.
All of them.
All of them. I love that Kate, it goes Devlin Cade. Like, I love that both of the guys are so far up that, and that Ulrich's on that list, even though he made mistakes. And
No. Oh, he's dead. He doesn't matter anymore.
he is. I do love that even Quartz like nudges her stomach and is like, make bigger, plenty of room, and she's like, no, no. Stormy Seaman is Cade's name.
Hmm. Sorry, we're having a situation.
Have you got a spider again?
Yep.
No. Um, but yes. Then we went to their parents,
Oh my god.
and
I can't stand on this couch. This is really annoying.
can you reach it? Do you want to pause and get the Hoover?
What's dead?
Oh, okay.
It, oh, hi. No, it's dead.
Hi.
Yeah.
Um, I think one of my favorite bits of this whole book is when she finally opens the door, and like Devlin kind of tries to get like in her good books, and Opal's like, before you fuss about not having enough to eat, I've also brought plenty of food. Thoughtful of you, but you can't bribe me. You will tell me everything, including what was so important at the Citadel that you had to go there first. Yes, Mother. Devlin returned with Dima and Tegan in tow. After a few seconds of silence, my mother grinned at the kids. Come on, nothing to be afraid of here unless you don't like my cooking. Then you have to do the dishes. Tegan laughed. I'll never have to do the dishes.
I'll never have to do the dishes.
You sound pretty confident, Mr.
Which is also
Tegan. What would you say if I
that makes
served
me sad
spider
though.
soup? Which is why I've
That kind of makes me sad though because it just made me think like he spent so long being so hungry that he'll literally eat anything.
I know.
And I think he would love it just because someone is being kind enough to make him a meal out of love.
I know. I love the kids so much.
Yeah.
I love them. Um I know that you don't particularly. I didn't think, to be fair, after we finished book 1 that you would be happy with her being with Ulrich. No, Devlin. Sorry, wrong one. Um but I just love them together. I can't. Especially with the kids.
It's not, if it hadn't been for her history with Devlin,
Yeah.
I couldn't, I don't understand how she can be with somebody who, again, like I say, literally tortured her until torture became basically ineffective.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I don't think I could forgive someone who treated me the way he treated her, regardless of, like, well, no, not. I understand the whole addiction side of it and the blood magic addiction and stuff like that side of it, and I would be happy for him to have a redemption arc and for them to be like acquaintances or friends and for her to wish him well and like not
Yeah.
hold a grudge about that. But to be in a relationship, like I couldn't be in a relationship with somebody who had that. You know, I mean, look at how I
Yeah.
feel about Leaf.
Yeah. Um I get all of that. I'm assuming it's something along the lines of the shit she went through. He understands and she
I
doesn't need to describe her past, but
I
I
decided in my
am not.
mind that it is a world where there are fated mates, soulmates, whatever you want to call it. And so it was inevitable and it's a magic thing and nobody actually has a choice in it, and that's the only way I'm happy with it.
I mean, in that case, Ari and Jan are totally together. Like, fated.
Well, look at Valak and Yelena. Valak had no reason, really, to fall in love with Yelena.
No. I mean, she does
The
literally
man
call
kills
them soulmates.
Goldwyn especially.
Mm? The man kills what?
Coldly, dispassionately.
Mm. Until it comes to
Like,
Yelena.
yeah.
So we have come to the end of Opal's trilogy. And do you know anything about the next trilogy? Have you looked at the
Nope.
synopsis for the next one?
Nope.
Do you want to?
Do we want to?
Mm?
I feel like I'm more excited for this trilogy after getting to spend more time with Alec. Like, I'm so excited for the study of trilogy because I feel like Valak is such an interesting character to be in the head of. Like, it'd be nice for once, and again going into the next trilogy, nice for once to be with a character who is established and secure.
Yeah.
Because like Yelena, we have her go from broken to strong, and then with Opal again, we see her go kind of from not broken, but like kind of broken. Like they're not like Valak is like an adult. Valak has gone through all his stuff. He is like, you know, he's just settled now. It'll be
An adult
interesting to
adult.
see in
I
his
love
life.
that series. I love that word. I love that. But yes, so we've got. This is
Oh
us
no, I did read the
almost
synopsis.
halfway.
Oh yeah, I did read the synopsis, and every time I think about it, I don't want to read it.
Why?
If
Why?
nobody wants to talk about the synopsis, go away now.
It's only Vicky. Oh no, it does say 3 people, but I don't know who
Yeah.
else is here.
So the synopsis for this one basically gives me the idea, or says that Yelena loses her powers, and I'm like, why are we doing this again? Why? Why? We've just done this with Opal. Why are we doing this with Yelena? Why?
I just remember loving it, which isn't helpful. It's also not available on Waterstones, so that's helpful.
Hmm. I need to. Where's
Bear
the
with.
story? I need to read the
I need to
story from you.
send you it. You don't necessarily need to have read it first because I did not. I didn't know it was there. But it does make a few things click into place. I've just written shadow glass instead of shadow study. It's no wonder that wasn't loading.
Hmm.
I was like, why is this not
No, this
coming up
does
with anything?
not exist. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to. I don't know if I'm going to be okay with. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see.
We will get there. Um, Hopefully the live show will be in like 2 to 3 weeks if we both manage. I think. Question mark.
Yeah.
So we can try and get back on track and do one live at a time. Do you have anything else to say about this trilogy? These characters? What you want to happen? Who you want to see? I can't remember, so I'm no help.
I mean, I would like to see. Obviously, we want to see Ari and Janko as much as possible. I want to see some more Valak. I want to see the Commander again. We've not seen the Commander for so long.
We do love
I
Commander.
feel like is the Commander still got the other soul? I can't remember if that was.
No. No, he does, but she has told him that she can help release the soul whenever he decides he wants to.
So that'll be interesting if that comes round again.
Dude, you've only got like
Yeah, well,
2 weeks. Get reading after the mammoth thing that you're reading right now.
hmm,
And you just wants a book about Aaron Janko.
yeah. I love Ari and Janko. I thought like Ari's so quiet. I just want to know what's going on in his head. And Janko's so extroverted that I know there's got to be some kind of like deep-seated insecurity in there somewhere.
He's just got ADHD gremlin brain.
That's very Rick Riordan coded.
Yeah,
It's like what makes him such a good fighter, the ADHD.
would
Just
appreciate.
like even just a short story of like Ari and Django on a mission. Oh my god, a short story of Ari and Django on a mission back in the past when they first realized they were in love with each other. Maybe they get trapped somewhere in like a bothy shack sort of situation, and it's like a storm outside, and one of them's hurt and they have to look after the other, but like they obviously can't get help.
They've got to keep each other warm. There's only one
Yeah,
bed.
not that I've thought this through or anything.
I have never looked up. Oh, look. I have never
It's a
looked this
shack
series
though.
up.
There might not even be a bed.
I have not looked this series up to see if there is fan fiction. I may need
That
to
would be my fan
rectify that.
fiction. I don't
Mm?
even like. I just want it acknowledged that they're a couple. That's all.
Oh, I know, and I couldn't even give you that answer from Maria either. How mean.
I also think a short story collection of some of Alec's missions would be interesting. Some of the
I read it before.
the situations he's got himself into. Because I know there's some situations he's got himself into. The commander is like the Ari, more of the Ari character, and Valak's kind of like the Janko character in those two's dynamic, which is hilarious because Valak is obviously more stoic than most people, but then the commander's like really stoic, and Valak gets cheeky around him.
There are 17 study series fanfics on AO3.
And how many are Ari?
The top one, at least.
Is it meant to be
Yelena.
together?
Yeah, no, that's not a pairing I'm reading. Absolutely not. One so far. That's disappointing. Only one. But the tag for it is I headcanon that Aaron and Janko are dating, so I wrote this.
I agree with that person.
It's very short. It's not even my whole screen long, though. That's sad.
I just figure if I mention it and get it into Maria's subconscious enough, that'll happen.
I love you. There's only 17, and half of them are mixed in with other fandoms, so no, that is not what I'm doing for the rest of the night. No. I need to.
Yeah, back to Yelena and I'm assuming Valak.
What about them? Oh, next
In the
book.
next.
Yes.
Sorry, Tori.
Oh, I think it's time for bed.
I'm excited to go back to Yelena and Valak. I'm assuming it's Yelena, but I mean it's definitely Yelena.
It's
But
definitely Elena.
it'll be interesting to see if Iris is in it more because Yelena and Iris do seem to hang out a lot.
Yeah, I'd be interested if like Opal and Co are all mentioned. Like if Nick and Eve start working more for Valak.
Do you think
I
they would work for
can't
Valak?
remember. Can't remember. Or maybe just become like spies and give him information. I honestly cannot remember.
It doesn't seem like something they would do. I mean, I feel like they would be friends with Arya and Django and Valak, but I don't feel like they would defect to
Yeah.
Ixia.
No. No. I really hope the
Maybe start
helpers.
working at the.
I don't know if the Helpers Guild will be mentioned, but I really hope they manage to get all the kids to safety that need it.
Yeah. I'm
Any
so glad
final
that Rose is gone.
comments? Yeah. Vicky, any final comments?
Oh yeah, it's a cheek that somebody fucking said in one of the books. I can't remember which one it was. It was like something about Rose Featherstone, and Opal's like, you mean the person that tried to kill Saul?
Yeah.
The,
Was it
put
not
her up on a pedestal.
one of the guys who was in the cult?
It was one of the council, I think.
Dude, get your heat screwed on properly, please. You're a sook. And I love you too. But unless Andy has anything else to say, we've done about an hour roughly on each book.
Yeah.
And my brain is now officially not knowing what we're doing or what's going on because I just got confused about why we were talking about Yelena and Valak.
It's good that it's kind of like it's all dumped out now and we can actually move on to the next series. I will be
Yeah.
sad to not see Opal though. I really like Opal. I like Opal better at that age than Galena.
Yes. Yes, I agree with this. But we will bug you into reading the book, Vicky, once we set a date. And we will speak to you all soon. Bye.